Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to show you something that I got that I believe is the least expensive way of being able to light your entire house, really, depending on how big your house is, right? Because the apartment I live in here is probably about 700 square feet, which feels like a mansion after you've been living in a 100 square foot or 140 square foot dry cabin for the last 6 months or so. But I wanted to show you this because it is very inexpensive per unit, and I believe that it will be able to light up your entire house, and they're super easy to use. There's no knowledge base whatsoever as far as using these things. They're easy peasy. But first, I thought we'd have a little fun, and I'd share with you some of the things that I got today. I went to Lowe's. I also got some things from Amazon that I've been waiting on in order to start getting prepared for winter. And I also got a couple of things that are part of my routine when it comes to the things that I consume that are diabetic friendly. And I'm going to show you those also because, hey, you never know. Maybe there's some diabetics out there that don't know about these products. And I'll tell you what, they are a life changer because things like jam, things like drinks, things like bread, tortillas, all that kind of stuff, you can't have it as a diabetic. But it seems that the industry now is capitalizing on diabetics because there's so many of them within the United States. So for those of you that just want to go right to the part of the video where I show you my lighting solution for your whole house on the cheap, so this is a prepping on the cheap video, you can go ahead and take a look at the chapters and you can skip right through it. For those of you that want to see the other things that I got to get ready for winter and my diabetes stuff, here we go. So this is pretty much my little haul, or you can say my payday prep if you want to call it that. And some of you may be asking, AP, you got a leaf blower for wintertime? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was on Amazon during the Prime Day or the Prime Days that they have now, and I noticed this leaf blower at like 50% off. I believe I picked it up for like 50 bucks, $49.99 or so. And one of the reasons I think it's a great deal is, number one, it's going to do the job, but number two, look at this. It comes with two 20-volt batteries. And the way that they charge the batteries now on these new models is so much easier and less bulky, having one of those big blocks that you have to plug them into. And what I use this for in the wintertime is whenever we have a dry snowfall, this gets the snow off of the vehicles really easy. You don't have to bother brushing it. You can get all of the snow out of the little cracks in your cars and everything. And it also acts as a leaf blower when you need it to act as a leaf blower. But the main reason I got it is because in the wintertime when it snows, this gets snow off your vehicles really easily, and you don't have to be standing out there brushing and stuff like that. And you can also use it to like get snow off of your deck or your front stairs, etc., etc. So I picked this up. I think it's a pretty good deal for $49.99 or 50 bucks. And one of the little functions it has that I really like, if you push this, you can actually change the angle of the dangle. So you push that, you see that? You can change the angle right there. And another function it has that I really like, it has a lock function. So when you turn it on, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, so cover your ears. You press this. And you don't have to continue to pull on the trigger in order to keep it activated. So pretty happy that I got that. Probably end up putting that upstairs in our entryway. That way Victor can use it as well whenever he needs it. Now here in Alaska, and I don't know if some of the northern states in the lower 48s, if they have this problem, but here we have our vehicles winterized. That means that the vehicle is prepared in a way so that the components within it that need to stay somewhat warm or at least above freezing will do so in the wintertime. Because at negative 40-degree weather, you really don't want to be cold starting your vehicle. So what this is just an outdoor wireless remote control. And what that does is it saves a little bit of money on electricity. For those of you that don't know, is they put a little plug in the engine block that keeps the coolant within the engine warm. They put a heating pad under the oil pan, a heating pad under the transmission pan, and they can do one of two things for the battery. They can either put a heating pad under that, which I don't recommend. I think that it degrades the battery over time, so I elect to have a trickle charger on my battery during the winter for part of the winterization package that they put on my car. And what happens is that when you plug that into the wall, it goes ahead and activates all of those components, and it keeps the vital parts of your vehicle that need to be warm, and in the battery's case, charged. For those of you that are wondering, how is it that a trickle charge can keep a battery from freezing at negative 40-degree weather? Well, whenever there's a current running through the battery, it won't freeze. And the reason why we elect to get one of these wireless remote controls is because in order for your vehicle to be properly warmed up as far as the components that I just stated goes, it only really needs like 3 or 4 hours. So if you plug your vehicle in straight into the outside outlet, it's going to be drawing roughly between 400 and 600 watts of electricity continuous. So what we do is, or at least what I do is you have two options. You can either have a timer, or you can have one that you turn on yourself. So about 3 or 4 hours before I know that I'm going to have to go outside and start my vehicle, I go ahead and turn it on from the inside to make sure that it's warmed up, or that the components within it that need to be warm are warmed up before I actually start it. Another thing that I picked up during Prime sale, which was a great sale, I picked up an indoor Ring camera. I already have an outdoor Ring camera, but this was a great deal. I think it was like $26 for this indoor Ring camera. And normally they go for about twice that much. I believe it was about 50% off. Now, a couple of the things that I have a subscription for on Amazon is these two items right here. This here is like an electrolyte that is the flavor of fruit punch. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I'll leave the link to all of these things on a pinned comment so you can go check them out if you want to. This is actually my favorite flavor, the fruit punch. It tastes really good. It keeps you hydrated, and it doesn't affect my blood sugar or my glucose level. Now, one of the things that I consider being a lifesaver is that every once in a while, when I have a sweet tooth, which these days is not very often, but every once in a while, man, I really miss having myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or in this case, it's kind of like a jam. So this Chalk Zero blueberry jam, and I believe they come in strawberry, they come in grape, and believe it or not, the grape, I didn't like it very much, but the strawberry, the blueberry are really, really good. And believe it or not, even though this is kind of pricey, it comes in at like $11. When you're the only one using it, and you only use it maybe once, at the most twice a week, it really lasts a long time. So let me go ahead and show you really quick what the nutritional information on this looks like. That way, if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, you want to give this a try because it is really that good. So here is one that I've had for probably about the last 3 weeks or so since I moved in here. I think I opened it up when I moved in here. As you can see, I don't know how, it's probably about half full right now, but take a look at the nutritional information. If I can't get a good picture from here, I'll go ahead and download it for you all and show it to you from the site. But here it says that 1 tablespoon is a serving, and 1 tablespoon when you're having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is really enough. But even if you want to do 2 tablespoons, go for it. Go party, ladies and gentlemen. It's 15 calories per, but those calories are mostly what I would call dead calories because they really don't affect you. If you take a look at the total carbs, it's 6 grams of carbs. However, 4 of those grams of carbs come from fiber. And for those of you that don't know, fiber does not break down into sugar in your body. It just goes right through. So right now we're down to only about 2 net grams of carbs. And one of the other grams of carbs is monk fruit, which really doesn't dissolve into sugar, or it doesn't affect my blood sugar at all. It has 1 total gram of sugar. So you can have yourselves a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and don't feel guilty about it, because this thing here is only going to give you 1 to 2 grams of carbs, depending on whether you use 1 or 2 tablespoons. And I highly recommend this to those of you that have a sweet tooth but are diabetics, because this will definitely do the trick. And since I'm already going in and out of my refrigerator, let me show you these tortillas that they sell at Costco. They also sell it in other stores. This one is called Carb Balance from Mission, and it comes in a pack of 8, but a total of 2 packs per container. And I believe that the bag that these came on in the 2 packs, I think it was like $7 or $8, which is really not a bad price. Again, these things are a lot more expensive than your regular tortillas. However, If you're only using it for people within your household that like have diabetes or are pre-diabetic, then you're not going to be eating these every single day. Like one of these packs will probably last me at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. But you can see here that the calories on this is 70 calories per 1 tortilla, but the important part is going to be right here. 19 grams of carbohydrates, of which 17 grams are fiber. So one of these tortillas has a net of 2 grams of carbohydrates that's going to dissolve into sugar in your bloodstream. To me, that's a great deal. And those tortillas are so handy. I love using those things to make like quesadillas or even pizza. You know, I'll put them on a pan with a little bit of butter under them and let it get nice and crisp on both sides. And then I'll put a little bit of sauce on there, not too much on the sauce because spaghetti sauce usually does have a decent amount of carb. But if you only put 1 or 2 tablespoons, it's going to do the job. Put some cheese and whatever other protein toppings you want, and they are really good and they really satisfy your hunger for pizza if that's what you're craving that day. Now, some of the things that I picked up when I went to Lowe's was these little gadgets right here. So you can plug this into an outlet, a regular outlet, and you can plug a bulb in here and it will light up your bulb. So I picked up a couple of them. They were like $2.50 a piece. I think you can pick them up for a little bit cheaper on Amazon. I think on Amazon, a pack of 4 is like maybe $5. But I was already at Lowe's, so I went ahead and picked up a couple of them. And of course, getting ready for winter, I noticed when I was sleeping here the other night that there was a very slight draft coming out of my window. So I want to do my best to make sure that we can conserve as much energy as possible. But this is just your basic installation kit for your windows. And one of the reasons, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that may be new here, that I do these videos is because every once in a while I'll get an email or I'll get a comment and someone will say, hey, you know what? I really need one of those, but I didn't even think about it. Thanks for reminding me. I'm going to go pick one of these up. And it could be anything. And one of the things that I've always liked to have under my kitchen sink is something to make sure that it keeps the air in there fresh and from getting musty. Well, this right here will ensure that the environment under the kitchen or the kitchen cabinet is nice and dry and keeps away the musty smell. I also went ahead and picked up a refill pack of 2, and these are set to last like 60 days each. Not too bad. I believe that the refill, the 2-pack refill was like $6 or $7, and the initial kit that comes with 1 refill was like $12 or something like that. But this here is a one-time buy, and then these here, depending on how long they last, will depend on how often you have to refill it. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know that I love flashlights. And one of the reasons is because I believe that during a power outage, during the dark days or dark times, I guess you could say, having light is a really big morale booster. Imagine not having any lights at all because you didn't prepare for it. Well, this is a way, I believe, that's even easier to operate than actually having a flashlight. And I'm going to show you why. And these come with a couple of little functions that I think are very neat. Let me go ahead and open the package. Forgive me, I don't have a tripod yet, but let me open the package. Let me grab one of those light bulbs and let me show you what I mean about the functions that they come with before you even plug them in. I'm not sure if I already covered how much I paid for these, but this comes in a pack of 8 and it was like $27. So you're paying roughly, I don't know, $3.50 or so per. And while this is screwed into the socket and the light bulb is being used, it's got an internal battery in here that will charge up while you're using it. And if you ever lose grid electricity, these will turn on right away. But one of the things that I like about it, or a couple of the things that I like about it, is that they can be independent if you want. You don't have to have them plugged in anywhere in order to use them. The only time that you have to have them plugged in is if you want to have them charging. But check this out. As long as you're touching this right here, the side, and then you press on the bottom, it lights up. So you can literally walk around the house with this lit up, lighting your way. Another way that it will light up is this way. I'm going to go ahead and screw this in. You screw this little hook in right here. That way you can hang it up anywhere you want. And then all you have to do is turn it on. See that? It lights up. But there's one other way that I think it's pretty cool. I don't ever see myself doing this, but it's still pretty cool that you can do it. Check this out. So The reason that I got these is that if for some reason the power outage is longer than the capacity of these light bulbs, then you can always plug it into one of these, and you can go ahead and plug this into a solar generator and recharge them and always have them charged, ready to use. Now, the only place in my apartment that accepts these type of light bulbs is the bathroom. And I really don't like the light in the bathroom as it is right now because it's like a yellow light, and I like a bright light like these guys. But if you like a yellow light, I believe that these come in different shades as well. So here I am in my bathroom, and these are the lights that I was talking about that are like a yellow light. Now, right now I have the overhead light on just so I can see what I'm doing. But let me show you what I mean by like a yellow light. See that? It's like a yellow light, and I like a brighter light. So we're going to go ahead and take these off. And now we're going to replace them with our emergency light bulbs. And as long as your lights are on, as long as you're actively using it, it is charging the internal battery and your light bulbs. And even one of these light bulbs, in my opinion, would light up the entire bathroom. So if you have a power outage, you can take 3 of these light bulbs out, and then you can go ahead and place those 3 or the other ones that you have around the house so that it can light up your entire house. And the way that you change the brightness levels is really easy. If you click this once, it's going to be at 100% right there. Turn it off. If you click it 3 times, it's going to give you about 10%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you into my closet. That way you can see what it looks like with regular light. And the reason I'm in here is because it's during daylight hours right now. And this is the only room that has no windows. So now that you see what it's like with regular light, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. I'm going to close the door behind me and turn on this light bulb right here and this light bulb. I'll turn one on at a time so you can see and have an idea of what just one light bulb will do. So right now we're in the dark. I'm going to turn one on right now. You can see that light bulb is on. And of course, you're going to have to place the light bulb where it makes more sense. I just placed it there because it's easy to hang right there. But you can hang it on the ceiling right here. But you can see that this lights up this entire area. You have no problem seeing everything in here with just one light bulb. Let's go ahead and turn the other one on and see what it looks like with 2 of them on. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like at 10%. That's at 10% right there. You can still see the entire inside at 10%, just a little dimmer. Let's go ahead and turn the other one on. Oh, this one looks like it's at 100%. Let's turn it off. There you go. That's at 10%. So right here, you can see with both of them on, you've got plenty of light in this area. And really, you don't even need 2. 1 will be plenty. So let's say, for example, that we do lose electricity. You can use it kind of like the same way that you use a flashlight. So what I'm going to do with those light bulbs is the 4 that I installed in the bathroom, I'm leaving them there full time, and I'm going to use them. And in about a week or so after I've used them for a full week, meaning that the batteries should be completely charged, I'm going to replace them with the other 4 that I have. That way those can be completely charged as well. And then I'll keep 4 on standby and the 4 that are always plugged in. And that's going to be it for this Prepping on the Cheap video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining in. I really do appreciate every one of you. And people always ask when I come up with these gadgets where you get them. And of course, I got most of them from Amazon during the Prime Day deals. And I'll go ahead and leave the link to all of them in a pinned comment. That way you can have easy access to it. And it does support me as well. So if you do use my Amazon link, I will get a few pennies of whatever purchase you make. It doesn't cost you a penny more, but it takes those 2 or 3 pennies out of Bezos' pockets and sends it my way. All right. I have another prepping video coming up soon, and I'm working on a deal for you guys. I just hope that it works out. If it does, it's going to be huge. Other than that, have a great day. God bless every one of you. I love you all. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I am out.